So, good morning, everyone. We want to welcome you guys to another Black Market podcast presented by Hack the Markets. I am one of your co hosts, AC, aka the Market Oracle.
Jerome Benson, aka the Market Prodigy.
Got Raheem, the dream, man.
Who we got over here,
This is
Pierre?
this is Kenneth Crowder.
Okay,
And my name is Pierre Orson.
bet. So, we are at the last day of the week. And right now, we got a jobs report out, or coming out rather, but the markets are closed. So, that should be interesting. Knowing that you can't trade
Wait.
stuff.
You gotta before you jump into it, you
Right.
gotta tell them this is the special glasses episode.
Special glasses episode.
That's
Yeah.
a glasses episode
The special Good Friday glasses episode.
Good Friday
because
glasses.
we got some vision, don't we?
That's funny.
Yeah.
So
These
yeah,
are oral officials here.
yeah. Hey, these just my blue blockers. So when I'm looking at these screens, I don't really wear glasses too much. But
Yeah, you
I
better
wanted to
watch it. We can see
participate
what
today.
you're looking
I
at.
felt left out if I didn't put them on.
We can see what you're looking at on your screen now. You better watch
Hey,
out.
yo, I gotta hide all this money that I'm looking at then.
Got them 3D goggles.
Right.
That's hilarious. So I know we got a few topics that we can go ahead and jump into today. So who want to jump in first? Because if
You know
not,
what? I'll go ahead and jump in.
okay. So what you got for us?
I'm going ahead and tell you, man, I had to make a turnaround. You know, last week all I was talking about was good season.
Yeah,
And Joe Biden done pull up my plane. You know, I can't
Regeneron
do
Joe.
Regeneron Joe, Sleepy Joe, if that's what Trump like to call him or whatever. I was cool with Joe Biden. I mean, I'm kind of fine with it now. But basically, what happened is I believe around Wednesday, he came up with a new infrastructure plan. Well, of course, I'm sitting here about to make me a ton of money because you know it's good season. I'm banking on everything to continue tanking. So he come out with this infrastructure plan, and lo and behold, the Nasdaq, which has been depressed for weeks now, struggling, man, that thing start charging to the top. So I'm like, what in the heck is going on? That's because he announced his new infrastructure plan. And we know about the NASDAQ, which is, I mean, it's heavily into these growth stocks and technology stocks. And part of that $2 trillion infrastructure plan, $50 billion of that is going to go into semiconductor investment. We already covered on another episode where we were talking about the chip shortages,
Yeah,
how that's rolling over into the EV field and for vehicles. But you know they're using those chips. So we already talked about also with Intel. Intel was planning on ramping up their production, but now with this $50 billion in semiconductor investment, that's going to be an investment in not foreign companies, but companies here on American soil. So that announcement is really what started to fuel some of those tech companies this week. And we saw that Wednesday, we saw that yesterday. People who are going to benefit from that are your Taiwan Semiconductor. They are foreign, but they are opening up a plant here in Arizona. Of course, we know that's going to boost Intel. Some of your other companies that may benefit from that is Cree. That's also going to be your Teradyne. I've got Lattice Semiconductor on my list as well, but and you turn around and I looked at that. I mean, 5 or 6% gains 2 days in a row, and it looks like it's really going to continue that move on Monday. Of course, today's markets are closed, so I'm looking forward to turning around and probably making an investment in one of those semiconductor companies.
Yeah. Hey, it's a new semiconductor coming out, company coming out, Indie. Well, it's not coming out, but it's coming to the market rather. They're called Indie. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. I think we talked about them inside of our group a couple months ago, but they that was when they were first talking about coming to the market. And they are focused on that automotive industry. So that would be something good to look into is that Indie.
Mhm. And part of the supply chain that I didn't mention was not only are we talking about the semiconductors, but you can't talk about semiconductors without mentioning the supply chain and the materials that go in there. So of course we talked about AMAT. AMAT, they're eating good off of that infrastructure plan deal too. I mean, they're probably coming out the best because their customers are these chip manufacturers or whatever. So man, I mean, talking about 6, 7% gains every day. I mean, wow, they you go look at the charts, they're all over the place right now. They're
Okay.
hot.
I was
That's
about
good
to
to hear.
say, Jerome, when you on that chip, I want to just throw in one little thing, man, while we're on this chip topic before we
Go
leave.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
So, we know that, Ford hit that chip shortage,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but as of today, man, they sales increased about 26.4% in this
Wow.
past month, even with the lack of production and lack of chips. So we know
Wow.
these guys aren't going anywhere. They're finding a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
For
And that
sure.
speaks a testament to their supply chain and their improvements during this COVID, effort as well.
Yeah. What I really want to know is what's up with Arizona because everybody's going to Arizona with these chip companies or sites rather where they're going to be making these chips because that's where Intel is going to be throwing all that money into two sites into Arizona. Then you just said Taiwan Semiconductor is going to Arizona. Like that's Arizona. I need to do a little bit of research into Arizona because I have no idea what they have going on out there.
Well, maybe it's because of you have Silicon Valley out there, but maybe from a taxes perspective, it might be cheaper for them to operate in Arizona than it is than like
Yeah.
Nevada or California, and maybe they just have a lot of the land might be cheaper there. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I want
Oh,
to
yeah.
look.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look into that because to be honest, a lot of these companies are leaving California and going to Texas. So I was wondering, like,
Yep.
why didn't they choose Texas? Because Austin has like a very good tech scene, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like the new Silicon Valley in a sense. Is not necessarily it. Kind of like how they deemed that little triangle area in North Carolina, like that research area right there. So
And we look into a lot of the different pieces that play into these businesses, but we don't really look into the location,
yeah.
choice, and why that makes sense. Why that maybe that land value is, cheaper than
Mm-hmm.
comparatively to other places. So
And see, Arizona, I don't know too much about their land area, but I was under the impression that it wasn't super cheap out there, but I really don't know. So that's something else I need to do some research on too.
Where is where's Tesla's facilities?
They were in California and now they
California.
have moved to Texas.
Huh?
Tesla moved because California, man, those taxes are crazy. That's not
That
something that you
land
want to
value
do.
is crazy too.
Yeah, all that stuff. Like, yeah, California is like
Mhm.
a almost a death sentence for a company unless you're getting some type of abatement and things of that nature.
Right.
But I guess I don't know. That I know one thing for sure though is that these chips have a lot of things held up. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting. The one thing that I'm thinking though is that because of this chip shortage and all of that, I'm pretty sure what's going to happen is people are going to boost the prices of these chips. So when they do finally start coming back online, these things are probably going to be expensive, like super expensive.
And
Well,
a correction, guys. The Gigafactory for Tesla is in Nevada in the desert.
ah,
Wow.
Oh, so now they actually
I
okay.
didn't know that.
So what operation are they moving to Texas? That's what,
Yeah, I'm
because I
not
know
sure.
they're moving something to Texas. I'm just not sure what they're moving to Texas.
I think everybody's trying to stay close to Silicon Valley and just stay out of that tax situation in
That's really what
California.
it is. But because also it was a lot of rich people that were moving out of California as well because of those tax
Oh
issues.
yeah.
So
Well, I wouldn't be trying to stay in California either. All them fires they got.
there's a lot of that going on out there, isn't it? So I guess we can switch up right now. Let's talk a little bit about the Eurozone then, since we were talking about some things that's going on over here. The Eurozone, man, they have been impacted. They just haven't been doing well, like for the past couple of years. You had Brexit going on. They got all that confusion going on around that. UK being like the second largest economy over there behind Germany. Um, there's a lot of turmoil going on around that, trying to understand what is Brexit going to look like, like what is these relationships going to look like post Brexit, all this type stuff. So you already have that uncertainty and all that craziness going on. You got Eurozone bond rates negative. They're below zero. So, I mean, they haven't been doing too well. So to get a print like what they got this month, or in March rather, for their manufacturing index. Um, it actually is looking pretty good for them. They have moved up. Um, they actually moved up the highest level since September. So that's actually a good sign for them. Good growth, and that's actually signaling good growth globally now. So what we could see is a good turnaround and global growth, especially with the Eurozone kind of like hopping aboard now and joining along with the US. So definitely some good news on that part, as far as economic activity.
Do we know what's fueling that growth? And in terms of like COVID, we know what that did to our economy, but are other economies today, did they have like a pullback worldwide because of COVID as well? Or are they kind of like still where we are in terms of that recovery phase?
So they are still recovering. Right now, they are in fresh lockdowns again. So remember, it's a lot of
Right.
countries over there that were disregarding the AstraZeneca. They were, banning the AstraZeneca. So a lot of that vaccine didn't roll out. So they kind of stumbled on the vaccine rollout a little bit in Europe. They had some bad vaccines, I guess, getting around out there. So they're on some fresh lockdowns. So
Wait. Let me pause you for a second there. You
okay.
said bad vaccines.
I mean, the AstraZeneca vaccine,
Oh
and that's why
man,
they
'cause I
banned
just
it
got
using it.
Danger
That's
on
that one shot.
I just got my vaccine yesterday. I'm
Yeah.
trying to make sure I ain't get one of those bad doses.
Yeah, so it was AstraZeneca. So
Woo.
the Eurozone has not been using it for a second now, just because it was just some reports going on about it. So that is one thing that we're seeing develop in the Eurozone. Um, but like I said, seeing this manufacturing actually going up, they had so many lockdowns over there. They were way more strict on how they handled COVID compared to the US. So they
Initially,
did,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. And even now with the fresh lockdowns, like they're still being a little bit more cautious than how the U.S. is handling it. Um, Biden is trying to, I guess, get people to kind of like put those mandates back into place. He's talking to the mayors and to the governors and all that, trying to get those ordinance back in place. Um, but like I said, the Eurozone already has mandated a lot of this stuff, putting fresh lockdowns in. So this could again affect their productivity. Um, but they had some good manufacturing data, so that's what I did want to talk about. At least we got one highlight out of this.
So how many vaccines do we have out there right now? I know we got Johnson & Johnson, we got Moderna, we got Pfizer. You just mentioned AstraZeneca. Am I missing one?
I don't think so.
It
I'm not too
sounds-
I
big
think
on
that's
vaccine
all of
either.
them I've heard of.
Okay.
Didn't
Any
you
of
just
you
get
guys?
your shot?
Yeah, I just got phase 1 of mine yesterday from Pfizer.
You got phase 1 from yesterday? On yesterday, rather?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. You ain't
Your arm
transformed yet,
hurt?
have you?
How your arm feel?
Man, my arm is sore right now. I mean, I can move it. It is a little sore. It's a little sore than it was yesterday, but
I heard that your
it's not
arm
like
might fall off if you get too sore.
man.
Oh,
As
man.
long as I can still hold up my toes.
Hey Jerome, I was gonna say, you're good as long as you didn't take the AstraZeneca, because Germany has been rolling it back because there have been increased cases of blood clots for the AstraZeneca.
Astra. Okay, so they got the
What?
blood clots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was something going on
Oh.
with AstraZeneca.
See?
I mean, because
See?
the way they've been rolling out these vaccines, are there any vaccines that have been approved by the FDA yet?
I hope not.
I mean,
That's a
I
good
don't
question.
think so. They have
And I don't want to know how they didn't get approved. What process does it take to not get approved?
I mean, it's a lot of stuff out there. People like
They
they
may
get
come
along.
up with boils.
But there are tons of products out there on the shelf now that are not FDA approved. You go on a tour at GNC, I will tell you a lot of their products in there are not FDA approved, but they are household names.
I guess they said they ain't trying to cure COVID in GNC.
I mean, I don't keep on my clothes.
They said you
If
just
it
trying to
ain't
be
FDA
strong.
approved,
Hey, we just
oh,
trying to
wait.
get you something that's
Like
not
it.
steroids in GMC.
It takes a long time to get FDA approved, and I guess they were saying, hey, we're gonna take this bet here.
Who has
And
time for
it's
that?
gonna streamline this, and we think we're putting out something, and we're trying to halt COVID in its tracks. Now, I mean, I get it. Yes, I am alarmed that it's not FDA approved yet, and I know that takes time. So it's kind of like, well, what would you do if you had to make that decision? Would you wait and like continue to watch people die, or I don't know? It's not like they putting a gun to people's heads and saying, "Hey, you have to have this vaccine."
Hey,
Me personally, I don't want this to turn into what happened in Tuskegee. That's all I'm saying.
Oh man.
who
Hey.
needs FDA approval though, man? You can just put anything out and
That's a word.
tell folks
there.
to take it, man.
I mean, when I found out about that, I think I did like a report for Black History Month, and I found out about that. They were injecting people with syphilis.
Mm-hmm.
And that right there, whew, that's one of the
That's
reasons
crazy.
why I wouldn't even get like a flu shot. So I've never gotten like a flu. Man, it took a lot for me just to even consider getting this vaccine right here.
Hey.
Did they give you a certificate for taking the vaccine?
Nah.
Right. Because I know there are
You know you
talks
gotta get
about
your
having like a
papers when you take
passport
it.
type. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kenneth.
No, you gotta get your freedom papers. That's what lets you get you free when you get your
I mean,
vaccine.
but you know, think about it. Similar to that, when you were trying to travel, they were making you have that QR code saying that, hey, you got your COVID test, and you couldn't have traveled without that QR code. And I think that's how they're probably going to restrict people. They haven't talked about it yet, but they could say, hey, you can't travel unless you show us documentation that you received this vaccine.
Yeah.
They could start imposing that stuff, saying, hey, show me your proof. You can't travel here. You can't travel there. You can't do this. So that could be on the horizon.
Yeah.
See, another interesting thought with this, I know we haven't really kind of dived into what it is, but like when the Spanish flu and all that hit, there was no vaccine. They couldn't roll it out that quickly. So this was a whole nother, much longer process than
So
what
take
we're
some
seeing.
Tylenol and
getting
go to
back
sleep.
normal.
What you say, AC?
I said they told you to take some Tylenol and go to sleep.
And get some ginger ale, go lay down.
Oh, he done brought out the ginger ale. Man, don't
That ginger ale. But now,
It hasn't
bring
done me
that
wrong
down.
yet, and I trust it.
Castor oil.
Uh-oh.
ooh, that boy.
Y'all talking about some real
Not the
stuff now,
cod
boy.
liver oil.
Milk of magnesia.
They get the job done.
That's so funny.
That's one. That chicken noodle soup.
Yeah, that always hit. That always hits. Hey, so we got some
Yeah,
we got
even
some
trying to
information out here.
assume whatever normal life is going to be, you know, post this thing, and we've seen not only from the markets, just from an idea of trading as a whole, you know, has changed. Investing has changed just based on us looking at what long term and short term really is now. Um, you know, with these market adjustments. So
Yeah, most definitely.
Right.
So we finally got the jobs report to come out. So I did want to speak on that really quickly.
Yeah.
Looks like we had 916,000 jobs. That's what the number looks like for March. So that's huge. It blew out all the expectations. So huge. Leisure, hospitality, and leisure led with the most hirings. And one more thing that I wanted to talk about was Tesla. Tesla, they're reporting 180,000 plus vehicles produced, 184,000 plus delivered in the first quarter of 2021. So big numbers for Tesla too. I see that they're projecting, and I think in the next 4 or 5 years, I think we're gonna hit a million cars purchased, electric vehicles purchased rather, a year. So right now, I think we're at like 300,000 or something like that. But they're saying within like the next 5 years or something, we're gonna be up to I think a million, or something.
Hey, we gotta turn this thing into like PTI. I gotta hit the pause button right there. When you say EV, man, buy alert on ride.
Buy alert on ride.
Buy alert on ride.
Hey,
Man, I was doing my
hey, you got to do that Jim Cramer. Buy.
That's
start
it.
throwing up bulls and everything, man. Yeah.
We gotta
That's
do one of those things.
traumatizing, man.
Hey, we gotta do one of those things with the breaking news. Man, you talking about EV with these chips coming back out or whatever they're manufacturing these. That's what was halting a lot of that production. And you got EV companies just like Ride. They've been slowly going down, but with this news, they're starting to turn around. So one that me and AC talked about yesterday, we looked at was Ride and also Go EV,
Yeah.
which is that Canute?
Yeah. Canoe.
Yeah, so Lordstown Motors and Canute, man, you look at their charts, like they're on the major support line.
Yeah.
And I definitely take an extra look at them. They may be ones that
Yeah.
really benefit a
I
lot
agree.
from this EV and this infrastructure plan.
I agree. Canoe is looking really good. They
Hey,
have
guys, Ride just dropped that pickup truck too. A new
yeah,
pickup
yeah,
truck.
yeah.
And Neo just produced some numbers about their production too.
Okay.
So,
Nice. They actually got some real numbers now.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I just
So
had
let's
to
go
look
ahead
at
and get to the part of the topic, or to the show rather. Where we
Yeah.
outside of that, I know we got some plays that we want to talk about. I know you just talked about yours. Let me go ahead and talk about mine real quick. We'll let Raheem, Pierre, and Kenneth get theirs out, and then we gonna be done. So let me go ahead and talk about that medley play that I was in, that MDLY that I was talking about the other day. I was telling people, I've been begging people to get on that play. Man, when I tell you we broke out yesterday and almost hit $13, it was like 12.70 something. Man, I rode that thing all the way to like 12.40 or something like that. Like huge breakout. We had a circuit breaker halt. The thing went up so hard. Like we hit 59%, we broke the circuit breakers, came back on, hit 61%, kept going up. I closed out because I was like, I know this thing isn't gonna sustain, but Definitely a good play. The next play that I'm looking at right now that has the same potential, Carve, CARV.
What's
CARV.
that?
I know, Raheem, what you got next?
I'm about to say I got some. My stock pick is gonna be Microsoft, man, with the deal. You can call me the deal man because I look at
Okay.
them deals.
Hey.
So Microsoft just struck a $400 million contract with the U.S. Army on some prototypes on augmented reality, which is pretty
Mm.
much anyone out there is not aware of that. That is being able to place an item in a physical environment through while looking through it on a virtual in a virtual way. So they got these lenses that allow these military people to be able to interact with hand motions on things
Mm.
they see, and also have the augmented virtual reality and their vision as well. So we know that the US likes to pump money. So we know that Microsoft is going to get this pumped up money and get pumped up.
So now we're gonna have some Halo Warriors. Man.
Yeah. Yeah, super soldiers.
Golly, man. Hey, I'm gonna tell you one thing. One thing that really scares me is this night scope. Have you guys seen Night Scope? If you guys have not seen Night Scope, I
Oh,
see
yeah, I've been saying that.
exactly. If you
Yeah,
guys have
yeah.
not seen Night Scope, go look up Night Scope. Night is like a knight in shining armor. If you guys look that up, that shit should scare you.
Bruh. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Pierre, Kenneth, y'all got some plays for us, or
Yeah, I
anything
was
that
looking
y'all
into
looking at rather.
this quantum computing that's been interesting. It's QUBT.
Okay.
My dad was actually big on them, and looking at how people are mining for coins, or whether they're looking at for stock performances, or for different, um, I guess, different markups, that kind of thing. There's another, that software has been valued, I mean, for years. So I wanted to start looking into how exactly they're defining what they're looking for, and then what their plans were for the future.
Okay.
So quantum computing, I mean, has been big even since, I mean, my dad got it, was telling me about it when it was big when he was in college. So
Mm. Okay. Cool. Last but not
So I'm
least, we
switching.
got Pierre.
Yeah, so I'm switching gears a little bit. I'm going a different
Okay.
direction. So I wanted to discuss the Robinhood IPO. So as you know,
Yeah.
Robin. So as you know,
yeah,
Robinhood is currently privately owned. Created back in 2013. So they had filed a confidential IPO with the SEC. So this is a really highly anticipated IPO. Uh,
Mm.
Currently, right now, you know, they're basically being reviewed through the SEC. So once that's approved, then that's when we'll know for sure the
Okay.
exact release date. So uh, pre-IPO investments are said to be available for investors with a minimum investment of $50,000, a share price of $60. So the expected value is gonna be between $50 billion through $60 billion.
Okay.
And in addition, they have chosen the Nasdaq, so it's gonna be on the Nasdaq.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense too. That makes sense that they'll take the NASDAQ. Hey, that's
So
some good
it's
information.
interesting. That's like the first IPO, major IPO that I've heard in a while. Like last year and the beginning part of this year, it's really been like the year of the SPAC. Everybody is trying to come in with that special purpose acquisition, but it's almost like, is that going to replace IPOs?
I don't
But is
think it's
that
going to
really like
replace it. It's just another way to get listed. Just the same way
right?
that you can do a direct listing, but that doesn't take the advantage, take the place of an IPO. SPACs, they have a little bit extra that you can do because you can do a little projections and stuff like that because it's an acquisition that's happening. So it's a little bit different, but you see how the price waters down once that lockup period happens and all these warrants get executed and all this stuff. So those SPACs ended up coming down like after a few months of actually being on the market. So I mean,
Is
pretty
that a
much it's
safer?
almost
Do
the
you think
same
that's a
thing.
safer entry?
Say that one more time.
I was gonna say, do you think that's maybe a safer entry into the market using a SPAC versus IPO?
I can't necessarily say a safer entry, because direct listings have safe entries too. The IPO process is just a easier process for the company to get a good value.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So it's just a tried and true process that's been going on for years. But hey, I think that's all we got for today, guys. So what we want to do is we want to take a little bit of time to thank you guys for watching. Um, Definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you need any help from the team, definitely head over to hackthemarketstrading.com and check us out. You need some help from us, subscribe to one of our subscription services, and let us turn you into a market hacker just like how we do it. So
Right.
signing off, people.
Subscribe, like the channel.